Okay, I did a deep dive on fascia this evening, and I was doing it as part of one of the modules that I'm creating for my community members because you have to move your fascia to move old energy out, and I encourage dancing and all this stuff. But I found out more information about the fascia, and I was like, oh, this is great information to share with the community. And so I did a deep dive on this, and I never really looked at it before because everything is the nervous system. I found that out a long time ago. Everything leads back to the root cause of your nervous system. And the fascia is a branch of that. And the nervous system is still the root cause. You fix your nervous system, then your fascia will start to get better. And it does. But if your fascia gets stuck, and you have stuck wounds that still need to be triggered so that you can release them, then your fascia can't communicate with your nervous system. And your nervous system is how you feel emotion. And emotion is how you create reality. It mirrors you. And it does that with your DNA. The DNA that's inside every little cell communicates in the quantum, and it brings information back and shares that with your electromagnetic field, and plasma takes it, and there's a whole list of how it works. But in any case, if your trauma, your wounds, or anything that you have is stuck energy in your fascia, then that has an electronic signature, an emotional signature. So if it's sadness that you don't want to feel, that's stuck in your fascia. And what it's communicating to your DNA and to your nerves is sadness over and over and over again. So no matter how much you do your mantras or you try to visualize, if you haven't felt and processed what's making you feel sad to begin with, then the only thing you are transmitting to be created in your reality is more sadness. Even if your reality doesn't even create something to experience that sadness, you're constantly feeling it. So that's the lens that you're looking at everything through. And as soon as you feel the emotion by sitting with it in your body and feeling it, it passes. And that fascia is now able to move energy and communicate with your nerves so that it can you can create a new emotion. You can experience a new emotion because there's room for it now. So this is why none of the manifestation stuff works. It's because nobody is in their body. So nobody can feel anything. We're in our phones all the time. We're stressed out all the time as the simulation is the challenge, right? Everything is challenging your nervous system, and that keeps you in your mind and in rumination instead of in your body. And we have lives that keep us sedentary, so that makes your fascia start to stiffen up as well. We don't hydrate. Most of the food that we eat is not good for our bodies, and it creates more energy to try to filter it, to make energy for us to live, and it does more harm than good in a lot of cases. So we are constantly being bombarded by these challenges. And the answer is what life was like before all this started. Living outside in the sun, having exercise, and eating from the land that's healthy. Because you know what the prescription is for fascia and nervous system and all that? Do you know what all the doctors are prescribing? Red light therapy. What's red light therapy? It's the sun. Okay? They're also prescribing grounding because it helps your excess energy and mitochondrial function. What does grounding mean? It means barefoot in your ass on the outside in the grass. Oh my goodness, that's how they lived back in the old days. Eating real foods. Well, yes, that's how we grew it back then. Drinking and hydrating real water that's not fluorinated, that's not chlorinated. So all of that is just regular living. And the challenge that we have is that we have to regulate our nervous systems despite all that, knowing that we are consciousness and that we are in control and we are creating reality. And we have to feel our bodies and our emotions and get back in there and get out of our phones. Because if you want a new reality and you keep experiencing the same one, it's because something is stuck in your body. Because you create reality with your body, with your emotions. And if they're stuck and you can't feel the good ones, you're going to recreate the same ones that you have stuck in your body. And the fascia is where it conducts all that electricity to communicate to your DNA and to communicate with your nerves. And your nerves are what feel emotions. So if this stuck energy is sadness or anger or whatever else that you haven't felt, guess what's communicating to your nerves? Sadness and anger. And guess what's going to be your perception of life? Sadness and anger. If you want something to feel good, you got to start feeling good first. And that means moving the old energy out. Everyone says, oh, you can choose to feel good. Not if you have stuck energy. It's not going to work. Too much in the pipe. So you got to move it out so that the new energy can come in. And then once that new energy has room to come in, you have to actively choose the positive. And then that's the life you start receiving because it's reflecting your new internal state. And your fascia, dance. Do all the fascial release stuff in conjunction with your nervous system regulation. So that is how you will change your life. That's how you change your reality. Literally, just feel your emotions, choose positivity and love, and it'll be reflected back to you. I know it's hard with everything that's going on, but all this is just so that you can come back to yourself. You can come back to feeling your body, loving who you are, and getting in contact with yourself, your higher self, your consciousness. That's what all this is for. You will never feel better. Never. There is not a man-woman relationship, toy, thing you can buy that will ever come close to what you feel when you touch your own divinity.